26.10 Answers to check your progress exercises. Check your progress 1. Number 1. You should mention the leaders who have been discussed in section 26.2. Number 2. The early leaders were apprehensive because they thought that adopting socialism would create class antagonism, antagonism in India, and may weaken national movement. Also see section 26.2. Number 3. After the sudden withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement, there was general disappointment and a communal divide. Also read section 26.3. Check your progress 2. Number 1. During his stay abroad, Nehru participated in a number of conferences and met social activists. For details, read subsection 26.4.1. Number 2. The struggle against imperialism in all parts of the world was directed against colonial exploitation. In this sense, India's freedom struggle was also a part of this. Also read subsection 26.4.2 and 26.4.3. Check your progress 3. Independence for India League was launched to oppose the concept of dominion status. Dominion status, to plead for complete independence and establishment of Indian Republic. See section 26.6. After 1927, the students, youth and workers attracted the attention of Nehru and Bose. See section 26.6. Nehru and Bose influenced the Congress in taking stands on agrarian question, civil liberties and opposing fascism. Fascism. Also read section 26.7. Unit 27. Growth of the Left, the Communist Party of India and the Congress Socialist Party. Structure 27.0 Objectives, 27.1 Introduction, 27.2 How the leftist movement grew in India, 27.3 Formation of the Communist Party of India and its early history. Under this, 27.3.1 M.N. Roy, 27.3.2 M.N. Roy Lenin debate, 27.3.3 M.N. Roy at Tashkent, 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 27.3.4 Early Communist Groups, 27.3.5 Formation of the Indian Communist Party. After that, 27.4 Formation of Workers and Peasants Parties, 27.5 Communist Influence on Trade Unions, 27.6 Meerut Conspiracy Case and the 1934 ban, 27.7 Formation of the Congress Socialist Party. Under this, 27.7.1 The Early Socialists, 27.7.2 Brief Sketches of the Early Socialists, 27.7.3 Towards All India Congress Socialist Party. After that, 27.8, the program of the Congress Socialist Party. 27.9, the impact of the Congress Socialist program upon national politics. 27.10, let us sum up. 27.11, keywords. 27.12, answers to check your progress exercises. 27.0, objectives. After reading this unit, you will get to know how, number 1, the historical background of the emergence of left in India. Number 2, explain the ideology and programs of the leftist parties and groups in India during the freedom struggle. Number 3, show to what extent the leftist influenced the socio-political life of India in the pre-independence era. 27.1, introduction. Before going into the history of the leftist movement in India, let us discuss the historical and ideological significance of the word left. During the period of the French Revolution in the National Assembly of France, there were three groups. A conservative group which supported the monarch, monarch, monarch and nobility, and did not want to reduce their powers. A liberal group which wanted limited reforms in the government, and a radical group which wanted drastic changes in the system of government, such as the adoption of a constitution and limitation of the powers of monarch. Within the assembly of the conservatives sat on the right side of the speaker, the radical sat to his left, and the liberal sat in the center. Since then, in the political vocabulary, the word left has been used to mean such groups and movements which stand for radical reforms in the government and in the socio-economic order, keeping in mind the interests of the underprivileged and oppressed sections of the society. The word right, on the other hand, is used to mean such groups which are opposed to change in the existing system of government and socio-economic order because of their own stakes. Those who stand for limited changes in the socio-economic and political system are known as centrists. Left is generally considered to be synonymous synonymous with socialism, because socialism is an ideology which aims at the upliftment of the toiling workers, TOILING, toiling workers, and protecting them from the exploitation of the employers, that is, the capitalists. In Unit 12, you have already learnt how socialism originated and grew in Europe as a result of the Industrial Revolution. You have also been told about Karl Marx's theory of socialism, his economic interpretation of history, his doctrine of class struggle, and his idea of a classless society. You have also learnt in Unit 14 how Lenin, Lenin applied Marx's theory in Russia and established a dictatorship of the proletariat, proletariat in that country. It has been pointed out in Unit 26 how within the Congress leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, subscribe to the socialist ideology. In this unit, we shall discuss the formation and the programs of the Communist Party of India and the Congress Socialist Party. 27.2 How the leftist movement grew in India. The leftist movement originated and grew in India as a result of the development of modern industries and the impact of socialist movements in other countries like Great Britain and Russia. As a result of the industrial development in certain places like Bombay, Calcutta and Madras, large and concentrated working populations came into existence. Gradually, the workers started organizing themselves to demand better working conditions and higher wages. This led to the emergence of trade unions. The growth of the trade union movement in India will be discussed in greater detail in Unit 28. But here we would like to tell you that the growth of the trade unionism, unionism prepared the ground for the formation of the leftist parties. In Unit 14, you have already read about the successful socialist revolution in Russia in 1919 under the auspices auspices of the Communist Government of Soviet Union. An international organization of the communist parties of different countries was established. This organization was known as the Third Communist International, as two similar organizations had been formed earlier. It aimed at bringing about communist revolutions and establishing governments of the working class all over the world. Till the end of the First World War, workers' strikes in the Indian industries were a rare phenomenon, and the workers were not politically conscious. From the end of the First World War onwards, there were frequent strikes in the industries and a large number of trade unions were formed. The large-scale unrest of the workers at the end of the First World War was mainly due to the rise in prices caused by the war and unwillingness of the employers to raise the wages. While demanding economic benefits, the workers also became conscious of their political role. In cities like Bombay, the workers organized strikes against the repressive Rowlatt Act, Rowlatt Act. The nationalist leaders also became keenly interested in the working class movement. The first session of the All India Trade Union Congress was held at Bombay in October 1920 under the presidentship of the nationalist leader Lala Lajpat Rai. Against this background, let us discuss the history of the leftist parties in India. 27.3 Formation of the Communist Party of India and its early history. Having seen the success of the Bolshevik Bolshevik revolution in Russia and the formation of the Communist International, some Indian revolutionaries and intellectuals working within and outside India contemplated the formation of a communist party in India. It was M.N. Roy, Manabendranath Roy, who first formed the Communist Party of India outside India in Tashkent, Tashkent, under the auspices auspices of the Communist International in 1920. 27.3.1 M.N. Roy. The original name of Manabendranath Roy was Narendranath Bhattacharya. He was born on 6th February 1889 in a poor Brahmin family of the Orabalya village of 24 Parganas, 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 district of Bengal. Early in life, he was a revolutionary terrorist. He received his education in the National University, founded by Aurobindo Ghosh. During the First World War, he was engaged in bringing about an armed revolt in India with the help of German arms. While pursuing his goal as a revolutionary, he traveled through many countries: Malay, Indonesia, Indochina, Philippines, Japan, Korea, China, and USA. He landed in the city of San Francisco in the summer of 1916. In USA, he changed his name to Manabendra Nath Roy. During his stay in USA, he studied Marxist, Marxist literature. Gradually, he named from nationalism towards internationalism, communism. After USA joined the First World War on the side of Allied powers, that is Great Britain and France, Roy found it unsafe to remain there any longer. He went to Mexico. There he came in contact with the Russian communist emissary Mikhail Borodin. Roy became friends with Borodin, got converted to communism, and helped Borodin to organize the Communist Party of Mexico. From Mexico, he went to Moscow at the call of Lenin, the Russian communist leader. 27.3.2 M.N. Roy Lenin debate. At Moscow, he attended the Second Congress of the Communist International held in July-August 1920. The Congress was going to formulate the policy of Communist International with regard to the colonial countries, that is, the countries of Asia ruled by the European powers. Lenin held that in such countries the communists should extend active support to the revolutionary movements carried on by the bourgeois, 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 middle classes, that is propertied classes, and intelligentsia, 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 nationalists against the foreign imperialistic governments. He was of the view that nationalists like Mahatma Gandhi, who were carrying a movement against the British imperialist government, were progressives, but Roy held that the bourgeois nationalists were reactionaries, opposed to progress, and that the communists should carry on their struggle against the imperialism independently by forming parties of workers and peasants. As a result of the insistence of Roy, the Second Congress of the Communist International modified the view of Lenin in the following manner. While extending support to revolutionary national bourgeoisie in the struggle against imperialism, the communists would carry on their struggle and independently by means of an alliance between workers and peasants. 27.3.3 M.N. Roy at Tashkent. In October 1920, M.N. Roy came to Tashkent, a place in Soviet Russia not very far from Afghanistan. There he established a military school for training the Indian frontier tribes for the purpose of armed against the British government, and also formed the Communist Party of India. The Communist Party of India was affiliated to the Communist International in 1921. In the meantime, being disgusted with the British government's hostility towards the Sultan of Turkey, who was the Caliph, Caliph, or the religious head of the Muslims, thousands of Muslim Mujahirs, pilgrims, joined Roy at Tashkent. There they took lessons in the newly established military school. As this school was closed in May 1921, the Mujahirs Mujahirs went to join the Communist University of the Toilers Toilers of the East to Moscow. There they received training in the ideas of Marx and Lenin. After getting training to Moscow, the Mujahirs returned to India. On their return, they were caught caught by the police and brought for trial to Peshawar. This trial is known as the Peshawar Conspiracy Case 1922 to 23. As a result of the trial, two prominent Mujahirs, Mian Muhammad Akbar Shah and Gohar Rahman Khan, were sentenced to 2 years rigorous imprisonment and the rest to 1 year's hard labor. 27.3.4 Early Communist Groups. In the meantime, the revolutionaries like Virendranath Chattopadhyay, Bhupendranath Dutt and Barkha, who were working outside India, became converts to Marxism, Marxism, and inside India, communist groups also emerged. Some non-cooperators turned to communism after the suspension of the non-cooperation movement by Mahatma Gandhi. In Bombay, a communist group was organized by Shripad Amrit Dange. Dange was born in October 1899 in Marathi Brahmin family of Nasik. His father was a clerk in solicitor's firm. He was educated Wilson College. When Gandhi launched the non-cooperation movement, Dange continued his studies and joined it. Soon after the suspension of the non-cooperation movement, he became a convert to communism. In 1921, he published a book entitled Gandhi vs. Lenin, in which he showed his preference for socialism. In 1922, he started editing a communist journal entitled The Socialist. In an issue of this journal dated 16 September 1924, Dange announced the formation of the Indian Socialist Labour Party of the Indian National Congress. Dange probably wanted the communists to function as a group within the Congress. In May 1923, in Madras, Singaravelu Chittiar, Singaravelu, Singaravelu, Chettier, Chittiar, an old lawyer who called himself a communist, announced the formation of the Labour Kisan Party. In the Gaya session of the Indian National Congress held in December 1922, he moved the resolution on national independence, criticized Gandhi's suspension of the non-cooperation movement, and suggested that non-cooperation movement should be combined within workers' national strikes. In 1925 to 26, in Bengal, Muzaffar Ahmad formed the Labour Swaraj Party, which was soon renamed as Peasants and Workers' Party, with the help of Qazi Nazrul Islam. Qazi Nazrul Islam, who was at the time a Havildar in the 49th Bengali Regiment, later on became famous as Bengali poet. Communist groups were also formed in cities like Lahore and Kanpur. Meanwhile, M.N. Roy was keeping contact with the communists in India through secret emissaries, emissaries, emissaries. On 2nd November 1922, M.N. Roy wrote a letter to Dange outlining the plan of a dual organization of the Communist Party of India. Roy suggested the formation of a public organization and secret group. The early Indian communists found it difficult to form an all India organization because of the British government hostility towards them. In 1924, the British government started a conspiracy to use against the four leading communists, Muzaffar Ahmad, S.A. Dange, Shaukat and Nalini Gupta. The government alleged that these communists had established a branch of revolutionary organization known as Communist International, with the project of depriving the British King Emperor of the sovereignty of British India. This case is known as the Kanpur conspiracy case. As the trial of the accused took place in Kanpur, CAWNPORE, Kanpur, during the trial, Dange claimed the right to preach socialism in India, as it had been allowed in other parts of the British Empire and Great Britain. As a result of this trial, Dange, Ahmad, Usmani and Gupta were sentenced to 4 years rigorous imprisonment in May 1924. (27.3.5) Formation of the Indian Communist Party. In September 1924, at Kanpur, Satyabhakta announced the formation of the Indian Communist Party. He also announced a provisional constitution of the party. This aimed at the attainment of complete independence and reorganization of Indian society on the basis of common ownership and control of means of production and distribution of wealth in the interests of the whole community of India. In December 1925, Satyabhakta organized an All India Conference of the Communists at Kanpur, which was attended by a number of communists, including Nalini Gupta and Muzaffar Ahmad, who had been released from jail. The conference met under the presidency of Singaraveli Chittir, Singaravelu, Singaraveli, Chettier, Chittir. The Kanpur Conference is regarded as the formal beginning of the Communist Party of India. In this meeting, the Central Committee of the party was constituted with S.V. Ghate and J.P. Berghar as the joint secretaries. Towards the end of 1926, the Constitution of the Communist Party of India was published. Meanwhile, the Central Committee of Communist Party held a number of secret sessions for working out the party's program. From 1925, the British Communists started coming to India for organizing the Indian Communist movement. In 1928, 2 members of the Communist Party of India were elected as alternative members of Executive Committee of the Communist International in its 6th Congress. In 1930, the party was finally affiliated to the Communist International. The infant communist movement of India had some drawbacks. Number 1, it suffered from paucity of fund. Number 2, the British government was very hostile towards the Communist Party of India because of its revolutionary character and affiliation with the Communist International. Number 3, there was paucity of cadres. And number 4, the privileged upper strata of Indian society opposed communism. Check your progress 1. Number 1, give an account of communist movement in India from 1920 to 1925. What were the drawbacks of the movement in the early phase? Number 2, write short notes on the following personalities. Number 1, M. N. Roy. Number 2, S. A. Dange. Number 3, Muzaffar Ahmed. Number 4, Singravuli Chitya. Number 5, Satya Bhakta. Number 3, first part, who wrote the book Gandhi versus Lenin? Number 3, second part, who edited the journal The Socialist? 27.4, formation of workers and peasants parties. In spite of the obstacles, the communist movement gained momentum. In 1927, in Bombay and the Punjab, the workers and peasants parties were formed. These parties attempted to propagate their ideology and program through the use of press. The Bombay Workers and Peasants Party brought out a Maratha weekly entitled Kranti, Revolution. The Punjab Workers and Peasants Party brought out an Urdu weekly called Mihnat-Kash, Worker. A Workers and Peasants Party was also formed at Meerut in a conference held in October 1928. This conference was attended by the British communist Philip Spratt. The conference passed resolutions demanding: Number 1, national independence, abolition of princely order. Number 2, recognition of workers' right to form trade unions. Number 3, abolition of jamindari. Number 4, land for the landless peasants. Number 5, establishment of agriculture banks. Number 6, 8-hour working day. Number 7, minimum wages for industrial workers. In December 1928, an All India Conference of Workers and Peasants Parties was held at Calcutta under the presidentship of Sohan Singh Josh. Here, 3 major decisions were taken. Number 1, this conference formed a national executive committee comprising leading communists. The conference emphasized the international character of the communist movement and the need for the affiliation of the Communist Party of India with international organizations like League Against Imperialism and the Communist International. Number 3. This conference asked the communists to carry on their movement independently instead of identifying themselves with the so-called bourgeois leadership of the Congress. 27.5 Communist influence on trade unions. In the meantime, the communists increased their influence over the trade union organizations by leading the workers' strikes. The communists played a prominent role in the railway workshop workers' strikes of February and September 1927 at Kharagpur. Their influence also increased over the Bombay textile mill workers. From April to October 1928, the textile workers of Bombay carried on massive strikes protesting against the wage cuts, but these strikes the Communist Girni Kamgar Union played the most prominent role. There was a tremendous increase in the strength of this trade union in 1928. By December 1928, its strength went up to 54,000 members, while the Bombay Textile Labour Union, led by the veteran liberal trade unionist N. M. Joshi, had held only 6,749 members. 6,749 members. The strikes in industries assumed alarming proportions in 1928. During that year, 31.5 million working days were lost as a result of the strikes. The government held the communists responsible for unrest in the industries. The government therefore planned measures for curbing their activities. In January 1929, the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, declared in his speech before the Central Legislative Assembly the disquieting spread of communist doctrines has been causing anxiety. On 13 April 1929, the Viceroy proclaimed the Public Safety Ordinance for the purpose of deporting the subversive subversive elements. Simultaneously, the Trade Disputes Act was passed. This act introduced tribunals for settlement of workers' problems and practically banned such strikes which coerced coerced the government or caused hardship to the people. 27.6 Merit conspiracy case and the 1934 ban. The most severe anti-communist measure taken by the government was the arrest of 31 communists on 14 March 1929. Subsequently, one more was arrested. These communists were tried at Meerut. The charge of conspiracy against His Majesty's government. The charge was brought against by R. A. Horton, R. A. Horton, an officer on special duty under the Director, Intelligence Bureau, Home Department, Government of India. It was alleged by him that under the direction of the Communist International, these communists wanted to deprive the British monarch of this sovereignty, sovereignty over British India by means of general strikes and armed uprising. It was pointed out that to achieve this The communists had formed workers and peasants' parties in such places as Meerut. The 32 persons accused in this case included two English communists, Phillips Pratt and B.F. Bradley, and an English journalist named Lester Hutchins. The rest were Indian communists. The trial of the communists went on for 4 years. Finally, on appeal from the Special Sessions Court, the Allahabad High Court acquitted acquitted some of the accused and drastically curtailed the others' sentences, holding the view that the accused persons have not been charged with having done any illegal act in pursuance of the alleged conspiracy. The Meerut conspiracy case against the communists was universally criticized in India. Mahatma Gandhi described as an instance of the reign of lawlessness under the guise of law, and intended not to kill communism but to strike terror. This case, instead of being a setback for the communist movement, made heroes and martyrs out of the communists. In their defense speeches before the court, the accused communists made such statements which appealed to the anti-British sentiments of the nation and raised the dignity of the communist movement. For example, in this statement to the court, Radha Raman Mitra said, "This is a case which will have political and historical significance. It is not merely a case launched in the ordinary course of its duties by the police against 31 criminals. It is an episode in the class struggle. It is launched at and conducted as part of definite political policy. It is an attempt on the part of the British imperialist government of India to strike a blow at the force which it recognizes as the real enemy, which will ultimately bring about its overthrow, which has already taken up an attitude of irreconcilable, irreconcilable hostility towards it, and has already shown a very menacing menacing strength. In 1934, the communists renewed their militant trade union activities. There were strikes at Sholapur, Nagpur and Bombay. The government became panicky, panicky, and finding it difficult to tackle the communists, banned the Communist Party of India on 23 July 1934. Thereafter, many of the communists carried on their activities within the Indian National Congress at the newly formed Congress Social Party. The Communist Party continued to function underground. Check your progress too. Why and how did the British government try to suppress the Communist Party of India? Number 2. The Meerut conspiracy case in fact helped the communist cause. Comment. 27.7 Formation of the Congress Socialist Party. The communists carried on their activities more or less independent of the Indian National Congress. But within the Congress, a considerable section was drawn towards the socialist or communist ideology and sought to work at a socialist program through the Congress. Among this section, there was leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jaya Prakash Narayan, Acharya Narendra Dev, Achyut Patwardhan and Ram Manohar Lohia. 27.7.1 The Early Socialists. In 1934, after the suspension of the civil disobedience movement, a section of congressmen decided to enter into the legislature to work for the Congress cause within the government. Mahatma Gandhi endorsed the line of action adopted by these congressmen who were known as constitutionalists. At this stage, some socialists wanted to form a socialist party within the Congress organization so as to prevent the erosion erosion of the revolutionary character of the Congress by entry into the legislatures. The socialists within the Congress believed in Marxists, Marxist, Marxist.
Modern Indian History 1857 to 1947. Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU. Section 27.7 Formation of the Congress Socialist Party. The Communists carried on their activities more or less independent of the Indian National Congress, but within the Congress, a considerable section was drawn towards the socialist or communist ideology and sought to work out a socialist program through the Congress. Among this section, there were leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jaya Prakash Narayan, Acharya Narendra Dev, Achyut Patwardhan, and Ram Manohar Lohia. Section 27.7.1 The Early Socialists. In 1934, after the suspension of the civil disobedience movement, a section of congressmen decided to enter into the legislatures to work for the Congress cause within the government. Mahatma Gandhi endorsed the line of action adopted by these congressmen, who were known as the constitutionalists. At this stage, some socialists wanted to form a socialist party within the Congress organization, so as to prevent the erosion of the revolutionary character of the Congress by entry into the legislatures. The socialists within the Congress believed in Marxist ideas like the communists, but there were two basic differences between the Congress socialists and the communists. 1. First, while the Congress socialists owed their allegiance to the Indian National Congress, the communists owed their allegiance to the Communist International. 2. Secondly, the Congress socialists were nationalists. The communists at the same time also believed in the goal of an international communist society. The Congress socialists joined hands with the bourgeois, bourgeois, democratic forces within the Congress for carrying on the struggle of national liberation with the help of workers, peasants, and petty bourgeoisie. bourgeoisie. The Congress socialists wanted to create a broad base for the Congress organization by bringing it into the workers and the peasants. They held that the workers and the peasants should take part in the struggle for national liberation. They believed in the efficacy of such techniques as workers' strikes and peasants' agitation for the attainment of freedom from foreign rule. The Congress Socialists believed in class struggle and stood for abolition of capitalism, zamindari, and princely states. They wanted to incorporate radical socio-economic measures for the uplift of toiling masses into the Congress Party's program. In the early 30s, socialist groups had been formed by the leftist congressmen in provinces like Bihar, UP, Bombay, and the Punjab. In 1933 in Nasik jail, some young socialists such as Jai Prakash Narayan, Achyut Patwardhan, M.R. Masani, N.G. Gore, Ashok Mehta, S.M. Joshi, and M.L. Dantwala floated the idea of forming a socialist party within the Congress organization. In April 1934 at Banaras, Sampur Nananda published a pamphlet in which he stressed the need for the formation of an all-India socialist party as a wing of the Congress. Such a wing, he held, would counteract the influence of capitalists and upper bourgeoisie. The Congress Socialists belonged to the westernized middle class. They were influenced by the ideas of Marx, Gandhi, and the social democracy of the West. They simultaneously practiced Marxian socialism, Congress nationalism, and liberal democracy of the West. Section 27.7.2 Brief Sketches of the Early Socialists. Jai Prakash Narayan, the foremost leader of the Congress Socialists, was born in 1902 in Bihar. In 1921, he discontinued his studies in a Patna college to join the non-cooperation movement. Thereafter, he went to the United States of America for receiving university education. There he earned his livelihood by doing manual work and continued his studies. In USA, he came in contact with communists and became a Marxist. While returning from USA, he found that the Indian communists were taking orders from the Communist International at Moscow. Though he appreciated the Bolshevik, B-O-L-S-H-E-V-I-K, Bolshevik Revolution of Russia, and the success of communism in the country, he did not like the idea of Indian communists acting under orders from Moscow. Returning to India, he joined the Congress Party in 1929. In 1930, he was made the president of the Labour Research Department of the Congress. His wife, Prabhabati, was a staunch follower of Gandhi. Jai Prakash published a book entitled Why Socialism?, in which he stressed the relevance of socialism for India. Yusuf Meher Ali was born in 1903 to a prosperous business family of Bombay. He was influenced by the writings of Mazali and Garibaldi, Garibaldi, and by the Sinn Féin, Sinnfein, Sinn Féin movement of Ireland, and the Chinese and Russian revolutions. In 1928, he organized the Bombay Provincial Youth League, which took active part in organizing demonstration against the Simon Commission and in the civil disobedience movement. Achyut Patwardhan was born of a rich theosophist father in 1905. He was educated at the Banaras Hindu University. After completing his education, for some time, he served as a university lecturer and visited Europe. He joined the civil disobedience movement and was sentenced to imprisonment in Nasik jail. Patwardhan was profoundly influenced by the Gandhian and theosophical ideas. Ashok Mehta was born in 1911 at Kolhapur. His father was a prominent Gujarati literator. He was educated at the Bombay University. He joined the civil disobedience movement and was sentenced to imprisonment in Nasik jail. For a number of years, he edited the journal of the Congress Socialist Party entitled Congress Socialist. M.R. Masani was born in a rich and learned family in Bombay. He studied at the London School of Economics. He was influenced by Fabian socialism, British labor movement, and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Acharya Narendra Dev was born in 1889 in Uttar Pradesh. His father was a lawyer. In the early part of his life, he was influenced by the extremist nationalists like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Hardayal, and Aurobindo. After the Bolshevik Revolution, he turned to Marxism. He attached importance to the role of peasantry in the nationalist as well as the socialist movement. So he devoted himself to the organization of peasantry in Uttar Pradesh. He also valued the role of middle-class intellectuals in the socialist movement. He proved himself to be a great exponent of Marxism and at the same time supported Gandhi's constructive activity. Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia was born in a nationalist Marwari family of Uttar Pradesh in 1910. He was educated at Banaras, Hindu, Calcutta, and Berlin universities. He took his doctorate in political economy from the Berlin University. After his return to India, Jawaharlal Nehru put him in charge of the Foreign Affairs Department of the All India Congress Committee. Lohia was influenced by the social democratic ideas of Europe and the Gandhian ideas. He did not believe in Marxism or communism. He founded a journal entitled Congress Socialist, which later on became the official organ of the Congress Socialist Party. Modern Indian History, 1857 to 1947. Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNOU. Section 27.7.3 Towards an All India Congress Socialist Party. The first All India Congress Socialists Conference was convened at Patna by Jai Prakash Narayan on behalf of the Bihar Socialist Party in May 1934. The conference was presided by Acharya Narendra Dev. In his presidential speech, Narendra Dev criticized the new Swarajist section of congressmen who wanted to enter the legislatures and thereby run counter to the revolutionary character of the Congress. He asked the socialists to carry on their agitation for the adoption of their program by the Congress. The conference passed a resolution asking the Congress to adopt a program that was socialist in action and objective. After this conference, the Congress Socialists worked hard to organize the All India Congress Socialist Party. As the organizing secretary, Jai Prakash Narayan campaigned in different parts of the country to organize the provincial wings of the party. The first annual session of the All India Congress Socialist Party was held in Bombay in October 1934 under the presidentship of Sampurnananda. It was attended by delegates from 13 provinces. In this meeting, the national executive of the Congress Socialist Party was constituted with Jai Prakash Narayan as the General Secretary. Check your progress 3. 1. Trace the circumstances leading to the formation of the Congress Socialist Party in 1934. 2. What were the basic differences between the Communist Party of India and the Congress Socialist Party? Section 27.8. The Program of the Congress Socialist Party. The Congress Socialist Party adopted a constitution which outlined the following program of action. 1. To work for the acceptance of the Congress Socialist Party program by the Indian National Congress. 2. To organize the workers and the peasants for their own economic uplift, as well as for carrying on the movement for the achievement of independence and socialism. 3. To organize youth leagues, women's organization, and volunteer organizations, and secure their support for the Congress Socialist Party's program. 4. To resist any attempt on the part of the British government to involve India in imperialist wars and to utilize such crises for the intensification of the freedom struggle. 5. To resist any negotiation with the British government on constitutional issues. The meeting at Bombay adopted a comprehensive program as the blueprint of a socialist society in India, containing the following items. 1. Transfer of all power to the masses. 2. Development of the economic life of the country to be planned and controlled by the state. 3. Socialization of key industries. For example, steel, cotton, jute, railways, shipping, plantations, mines. Insurance and public utilities, with a view to the progressive socialization of the instruments of production, distribution, and exchange. 4. State monopoly of foreign trade. 5. Organization of cooperative societies for production, distribution, and credit in the unorganized sector of the economic life. 6. Abolition with compensation of princes and landlords and all other classes of exploiters. 7. Redistribution of land among the peasants. 8. The state was to encourage and control cooperative and collective farming. 9. Liquidation of debts, DEBTS, debts owned by peasants and workers. 10. recognition of the right to work or maintenance by the state. 11. Quote, to everyone according to his deeds, unquote, is to be the basis ultimately of distribution of economic goods. 12. Adult franchise, which shall be on functional basis. 13. The state shall neither support nor discriminate between religions, nor recognize any distinction based on caste or community. 14. The state shall not discriminate between the sexes. And 15. Repudiation of the so-called public debt of India. The Bombay session adopted separate programs for the workers' and peasants' uplift. For workers, the demands were freedom to form trade unions and the right to go on strikes, living wage, 40-hour week, and insurance against unemployment, sickness, accident, and old age. For the peasants, the demands were abolition of landlordism, encouragement of cooperative farming, exemption from rents and taxes on uneconomic holdings, reduction of land revenue, and abolition of feudal levies. Feudal, F-E-U-D-A-L, levies, L-E-V-I-E-S. Independence, freedom from British rule, and socialism were the twin objectives of the Congress Socialist Party. For the purpose of attainment of independence, the Congress Socialists joined hands with the anti-imperialist and non-socialist forces within the Congress. Jai Prakash Narayan said, quote, our work within Congress is governed by the policy of developing it into a true anti-imperialist body, unquote. He also warned his co-workers early in 1935, quote, nothing should be done which may antagonize the genuinely nationalist elements and drive them to join hands with the compromise-seeking right wing, unquote. But as the ultimate objective of the Congress Socialists was to establish a socialist society in India, the Congress Socialists also worked to secure the acceptance of their program by the Indian National Congress. Acharya Narendra Dev, in his presidential speech in the first All India Congress Socialists Conference, said that the Congress Socialists should carry on their, quote, endeavor to influence the nationalist movement in the direction of socialism, unquote. The Congress Socialists followed 3 lines of activities for the attainment of the twin objectives of freedom and socialism. 1. Inside the Congress, they worked out anti-imperialist and nationalist programs of the Congress as congressmen. 2. Outside the Congress, they mobilized the workers, peasants, students, intelligentsia, youth, and women for the cause of socialism. 3. They sought to integrate the above 2 lines of activities. The Congress Socialists sought to mobilize the workers and peasants for their economic amelioration, 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 as well as the country's liberation from foreign rule. Modern Indian History, 1857 to 1947. Indira Gandhi National Open University. Section 27.9. The impact of the Congress Socialists program upon national politics. There was a mixed reaction among the congressmen to the formation of the Congress Socialist Party. The conservative or right-wing congressmen criticized the Congress Socialists, quote, loose talk, unquote, about the confiscation of property and class war. Mahatma Gandhi also rejected their idea of class war. Gandhi did not believe in the necessity of the abolition of princely order, zamindari, and capitalism. He wanted to bring about a change of heart in the princes, zamindars, and capitalists so that instead of considering themselves the owners of the states, zamindaris, and factories, they should behave as the trustees for their subjects, tenants, and workers. But the leftist congressmen like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose welcomed the formation of the Congress Socialist Party, though neither Nehru nor Bose joined the party. In the annual session of the Congress, held at Lucknow in April 1936, in his presidential speech, Nehru espoused the cause of socialism. He said, "I see no way of ending the poverty, vast unemployment, degradation, and subjection of the Indian people except through socialism. That involves vast revolutionary changes in our political and social structure, ending vested interests in the land and industry, as well as the feudal autocratic Indian states system. That means ending private property, except in a restricted sense, and replacement of the present profit system by the higher ideals of cooperative service." In 1936, Nehru inducted 3 Congress Socialists, Narendra Dev, Jaiprakash Narayan, and Achyut Patwardhan, into the Congress Working Committee, besides another leftist, Subhash Chandra Bose. The Faizpur, Faizpur, the Faizpur session of the Indian National Congress, held towards the close of 1936 under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, adopted an agrarian program containing such items as reduction of revenue, abolition of feudal dues and levies, introduction of cooperative farming, living wage for the agrarian laborers, and formation of peasant unions. In the meantime, the Congress Labour Committee asked the Congress ministries, formed in the provinces in 1937, for adopting measures for safeguarding and promoting the interests of workers. The Congress Socialists played an important role in the Kisan, meaning peasant, movement. Through the efforts of Professor N.G. Ranga, Indulal Yagnik, and Swami Sahajanand Saraswati, the All India Kisan Sabha was organized. The first All India Kisan Congress met at Lucknow in 1936. The Kisan organizations demanded the abolition of zamindari, reduction of land tax, and collective affiliation to Congress. The Congress Socialists changed the Congress Party's policy from aloofness to closer involvement in the affairs of princely states. The Congress Socialist activists also took part in the democratic movements of the people in the princely states against their autocratic rulers. They agitated for civic rights and responsible government. Check your progress for 1. What were the two main objectives of the Congress Socialist Party? 2. What kind of impact did the Congress Socialists' program have on the nationalist politics? Section 27.10. Let us sum up. The leftist movement is an outcome of the Industrial Revolution in Europe. In India, this movement owes its origins and growth to the development of modern industries, working class movement, nationalist awakening, and impact of socialist movements in other countries, particularly the Bolshevik Revolution of Russia. In 1920, the Communist Party of India was formed in Tashkent by M.N. Roy, an Indian Marxist. Though there were a number of Marxist groups in India by 1920, the Communist Party of India was formally started in a conference held at Cawnpore, C-A-W-N-P-O-R-E, Cawnpore, in 1925. The Communist Party of India aimed at the overthrow of British imperialism and establishment of the government of workers and peasants like their counterparts in Russia. The Communists carried on their movement independent of the National Congress because they considered the Congress to be an association of the Indian bourgeoisie, 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 and vested interests. The Communists rapidly enhanced their influence over the trade unions of workers. By 1928, the communist-led Girni Kamgar Union became very powerful. Girni Kamgar, G-I-R-N-I, Kamgar, K-A-M-G-A-R. The British government sought to suppress the communist movement by means of conspiracy cases against the communist leaders. In 1929, the famous Meerut conspiracy case was instituted against 31 communists. In 1934, the Communist Party of India was banned by the British government. Although the Indian National Congress was led by the Indian middle class and basically aimed at the liberation of the country from foreign rule, yet an important section of congressmen also aimed at establishing a socialist state in India. In 1934, some leftist congressmen like Jaiprakash Narayan and Acharya Narendra Dev formed the Congress Socialist Party as a wing of the Congress. The Congress Socialists simultaneously carried on a movement for independence from foreign rule and establishment of a socialist state. They organized the movement of the workers and peasants. They carried on movements for abolition of the princely order, landlordism, and capitalism. Their movement resulted in the adoption of programs for the uplift of workers and peasants by the Indian National Congress. Section 27.11. Key words. Bourgeoisie, B-O-U-R-G-E-O-I-S-I-E. Middle class refers to propertied classes, capitalists, industrialists, merchants, and intelligentsia. Intelligentsia is spelled I-N-T-E-L-L-I-G-E-N-T-S-I-A. Petty bourgeoisie means lower middle class. Capitalism, capitalism, an economic system based on individual ownership of means of production and private enterprise. Communism, communism, the doctrine of socialism propounded by Karl Marx, Marx. Class struggle. Karl Marx propounded the view that human history is the history of class struggle between privileged and unprivileged classes. He predicted that as a result of the class struggle between the capitalists and the workers would be victorious and establish a dictatorship of the proletariat. Proletariat, Proletariat. Fascism, Fascism, a political doctrine which is opposed to the democratic concept of government by the majority and the communist concept of class struggle. It believes in strong rule by a dictator. Fabian socialism, Fabian, Fabian socialism. It refers to a school of socialism in England which believes in the realization of socialism by slow and gradual methods. Liberal, Liberal, one who believes in democracy. Proletariat, Proletariat, have-nots, landless workers, the lowest classes in a society. Social democracy refers to a school of thought in Europe which believes in realization of socialism through democratic method. Socialism, an economic system based on the ownership of the means of production by the state or the whole community. Trade union, a society of workers for protection of their interests. Modern Indian history, 1857 to 1947. Indira Gandhi National Open University. Section 27.12, Answers to Check Your Progress Exercises. Check Your Progress 1. 1. See subsections 27.3.4, 27.3.5. Your answer should include 1. The formation of early communist groups. 2. Formation of communist parties. 3. Roles of S.A. Dange, D-A-N-G-E, and M.N. Roy. For the second part of the answer, you should include 1. The problem of funds. 2. The British government's attitude. 3. Problem of cadres. C-A-D-R-E-S. 2. A. M.N. Roy. See subsections 27.3.1, 27.3.2, 27.3.3. Your answer should include 1. Roy and his contact with Soviet Union. 2. His debate with Lenin on India. 3. His look at Tashkent. B. S.A. Dange. See subsection 27.3.4. Your answer should include 1. A few words on his personal life. 2. His writings. 3. His aim of seeing communists functioning as a group in Congress. C. Muzaffar Ahmad. See subsection 27.3.4. Your answer should include his role in the formation of the Labour Swaraj Party. D. Singaravelu Chettiar. Singaravelu Chettiar. See subsection 27.3.4. Your answer should include 1. His role in founding the Labour Kisan Party in 1923. 2. His critical resolution at the Gaya session of the Indian National Congress. E. Satya Bhakta. SATYA BHAKTA. See subsection 27.3.4. Your answer should include 1. His role in the formation of the Indian Communist Party. 2. The Kanpur Conference. 3A. S.A. Dange. 3B. S.A. Dange. Check your progress 2. 1. See sections 27.5 and 27.6. Your answer should include 1. The British fear about their overthrow by the communists by strikes and uprisings. 2. The Public Safety Ordinance and Trade Dispute Act. 3. The Meerut Conspiracy Case. 4. Ban on Communist Party in 1934. 2. See section 27.6. Your answer should include 1. The universal criticism the case drew. 2. Also the fact that the trial provided the communists a public forum to express their views and commitments. Check your progress 3. 1. See section 27.7. Your answer should include 1. The influence of socialist ideology within the Congress. 2. Formation of socialist groups within the Congress. 3. The role of different individuals like Jaiprakash Narayan and Narendra Dev in giving direction to early socialists. 4. The first All India Congress Socialists Conference. 5. The first annual session of the All India Congress Socialist Party. For the second part of your answer, see subsection 27.7.1. Include 2 basic differences. A. The Congress Socialists' goal was limited to establishing socialism within India, while the communists believed in an international communist society. B. Congress socialists wanted to work only within the Congress. The communists were ready to work independently outside the Congress. 2. See subsection 27.7.2 for all. A. Include 1. Personal sketch of his differences with the Indian communists. B. Include 1. Influences of extreme nationalists by him. 2. His turning to Marxism. 3. Importance of role in his outlook. 4. Support to Gandhi's constructive activity. C. Include 1. Gandhian and Theosophist ideas' influence on him. 2. Jail during civil disobedience. D. Include 1. His dislike for orthodox Marxism and communism. 2. A prenated APPRENATED, a prenated democratic socialism. 3. Editor of Congress Socialist. 4. Trade unionist. E. Include 1. Influence of European socialist democratic ideas on him. 2. Did not believe in Marxism or communism. 3. Founder of journal Congress Socialist. Check your progress for 1. See section 27.8. Your answer should include 1. Independence and 2. Socialism. 2. See section 27.9. Your answer should include 1. Conservative reaction. 2. Influence on left congressmen like Nehru. 3. Role in Kisan movement. 4. Changes in Congress policy like abolition of zamindars, etc., being included in Congress program.